Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the opening round of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. We're here at the sensational Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli. It's a beautiful day in Italy. It's a beautiful day to kickstart our 2026 campaign. And what a campaign we have ahead of us. My name is Paul Jeffrey, delighted to welcome Alex Le Gui once again down there on the grid, ready to capture all of the excitement and all of the drama ahead of the racing action. And trust me, I think we are set fair for an incredible race indeed. That is just around the corner. Of course, we'll be going green flag in a few moments' time. But before we do that, we will take the opportunity to head down to Alex and see who she can find before the race commences.
It is gloriously hot down here on the circuit of Misano. What an incredible place to start this 2026 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. This is the first round of 8. We have other new circuits on this grid, including Misano, Paul Ricard, Chengdu later in the year. But like I say, a brand new circuit for all 18 of our drivers. And for those of you who've been following us for a while, we have a real mix-up. This feels like a real reset this season. We've got about 50% of our OG drivers, and then we've got a whole heap of newbies. And they're a lot younger as well. Before I go into more detail, I'm going to have a little chat to our WSC CEO, Marcello Lotti. Ciao. I was just saying to our fans, this feels like a real reset this year. There's a lot of energy, there's new faces on the grid, and some people who are really going to ruffle some feathers, huh?
Yeah, I have to say, yeah, you are right. But anyway, we are the first event. We are in Misano in Italy, and I'm Italian, so I'm happy on that. And I have to say, very good grid. Also in terms of performance, I was worried, but after the qualifying, okay, they confirm what we expected for, and now we have to see the first race. It's the first race from long season in front. But we cross our finger and invite you to follow the show from today and tomorrow.
Make sure you do. Grazie mille. He loves Italy. I love Italy. The food that I have eaten here this weekend is something else. Right, so as Marcello mentioned, qualifying was very, very good. Hyundai set the benchmark. Mikel Ascona was top in free practice 1. Norby Michlitz was top in free practice 2. Ordinarily, I would say that meant nothing. However, they also smashed it in qualifying. Before I carry on with the grid, let's just have a little... Oh, this girl is just so cute. She's come round. She's been saying hello to all the drivers. She had a white hat on earlier. She had all the signatures. This is a true girls on track girl. Hello, Mikel. Right, signor. Okay, right, we know that Hyundai are strong around here. We don't know everything about Geely, who are right behind you. We know that you're going to deploy the Norby and help, and you want him to help you. However, what happens if Norby gets down to that first corner before you do?
We'll see. I mean, first of all, I have to do my best on the start. Track feels very, very hot temperature, to be honest, now on the formation lap, so I will do my best, but yeah, I will try to defend my position, and we'll see after the first lap where we are, but yeah, everything is looking good, and we'll push maximum.
Good. Have a great one. Vamos, Miguel. Yeah, do you know what? I wouldn't put it past, that man there to get down to that first corner before, Mikel. Let's see. Anyway, right, let's come down and I can introduce you to some more of the grid. Jan Erlache, the reigning champion, starts the second row of the grid. Look. Geely, same colour car, same 4 drivers, different car, Geely Cyan Racing. We have not seen exactly what these guys can do for sure. Let's have a chat to Santi. Hello, sir. Right. So, for our fans who have only just tuned in, tell us a little bit about the Geely Cyan Racing.
It's been a good start, you know. We struggled a little bit yesterday, but we speed up today in quali. Hyundai seems to be a bit stronger than us, but we have done a good quali. P3 for Yam, P4, P5, so we all together, and then as well we have MAP for the reverse grid. But the main thing is, you know, it's just the first race, so it will be the first race for the car. We don't really know how to handle it. It was good in the pre-season, but you know, when it's racing, it's different. So just to get a good start, a clean start, and then be safe and just bring points home, and that will be the main thing. And complete the first race for this new model and Geely All Science. So congrats to everyone that has put this program together.
Great. Thank you, Santi. I think they do know what they've got. Between you and I think they do know what they've got. I just think they... Oh, thanks. It's all right, I'll come back and get them. I've dropped my sunglasses. Right, anyway, where were we? OK, so, yeah, let's have a little chat to Ruben Volt, if we can. Hello, sir. Mind if I undo you? All right, this is a dark horse. We've got a few dark horses in here. Oh, these are very tricky for some reason. It's just a push and I still struggle. Hello. All right, here we go. First time amongst this pack. Thoughts from where you are in the grid?
It's quite okay, but wish to be more up front, but what can you do?
Car was obviously feeling rather strong in free practice and qualifying.
Yeah, the car is quick, but nowhere near as quick as the Blue Boys and the Hyundais at this moment in time.
Well, keep out of damage, keep out of mischief, and work your way through the pack. Enjoy Ruben Volt, ALM Motorsport. So he won here last year, so he has got track history, track knowledge on his side. And let's see if he can deploy that. Just there to your right, Aurélien Comte. He has a new teammate. For those of you who are fans of touring car or of age, do you remember a certain gentleman called Jean-Carl Venet? He's back. He qualified P12. Not ideal, but he was actually very happy considering this was his first time back in a touring car since, I don't know, 2022 or something. Someone else who's joined the pack. This, sir, Gabriele Cavini, you can see he's in a BRC Hyundai car. Just going to ruin what your engineers have done. This is his home race. Ciao, Gabriele. Your home race. What a cool place to be starting here in Misano in the World Tour pack. Thoughts?
Well, I'm super excited for the race. We're in a very good position, a bit unlucky in Q2, but nevertheless, first race in the World Tour in Italy, top 10, and tomorrow front row. What can I say? Just thanks to the team and to this whole organization. So I can really wait to start this race and have some fun with these guys.
Yeah, man, we love it. Sorry, I've taken down your screen. Gabriele Cavini there. I'm very excited to see what he can do as well. This Jensen Brickley, even ALM Motorsport 2025 TCR European champion. Very quickly, 2 words of, well, maybe more than 2, but we've only got about 30 seconds left. Go.
Yeah, not so happy to be starting P10, but a little bit happier than what we were in P11. So, yeah, going to try and show my pace and see if I can move up a few spots.
P10 also means, you know, I guess, damage limitation, because you're pole for race 2.
Yeah, obviously better start tomorrow, but yeah, we'll see what we can do with the race today.
Mega. Thank you, Jensen. Great to have him on the track. All right, my friends. 2026 season starts here and now. That is your grid for race 1. Let the games begin.
'26 starts here indeed. Thank you very much, Alex Le Gouy, down there on the grid, ahead of what I really do believe should be a very fascinating race indeed. As indicated already by Alex, the new Geely Cyan racing outfit, I think they've got a bit more pace in their pockets at this moment in time. It's a very nice looking machine. They've done a lot of work over the winter to get themselves prepared for the year ahead. But the big news story, the big story of the weekend, has of course been the pace of the BRC Hyundai squad. 1-2 on the grid. We'll get to the grid formation in a short while, but they were fabulous in qualification. Can that pace transfer into the race? The temperatures are a little bit up on what we had in qualifying earlier. It's going to be a tough test. Air temperature, as you can see, 20 degrees centigrade. It was 18 this morning. Track temperature at 41 degrees. And the humidity of 57%. It's going to be a tough test for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour field, especially given this is the opening race of what is going to be a fairly extensive season in 2026. We've got 20 races. We start here in Misano. We're next up in June at Valencia, then Paul Ricard, Villarreal, Injispedium, Chengdu, Zhuzhou, and finishing, of course, as we always do in touring cars, at the legendary Macau Gear Circuit. Now, before we go any further, I want to take a small opportunity to... it's a little bit later after the event, but sadly we lost Alessandro Zanardi at the beginning of this month. Anybody who's a touring car fan will know that man is an absolute titan and will be very, very sadly missed. A personal hero of my own. So let's take a few moments just to say, ciao Alex, and thank you for the memories. Right then, so now on to matters motor racing right here. And right now we've got a few onboard cameras with some of our drivers. There is Jensen Brickley, bonnet up, windscreen cover over, of course. The temperatures are incredibly high for so early in the day here in Misano. All the way through the day, it's been very, very warm indeed. Potentially not quite as nice tomorrow for race number 2. But that's a bridge we'll cross a little bit later on. What can that man do? Starting from the front row of the grid in second position, Norbert Michaelis has a big opportunity here. As already mentioned, himself and teammate Mikael Azcona have a little bit of sorting out to do, methinks, on the run down into T1. It's going to be a vital time for the two BRC Hyundai drivers. They need to get themselves sorted out very, very quickly indeed, because it doesn't say number 1 on that car. It does say he's 168, but Jan Ehrlichie is our reigning champion. Comes into the season with less than ideal preparation, I think it would be fair to say. A cycling accident back in March caused a bit of a shoulder injury to Jan. He's on the recovery, though. He's on the mend, and it's most certainly doing absolutely nothing to stunt the incredible pace of the French driver. He's leading the new Geely Scion Racing Charge up there in the second row of the grid, alongside teammate Santiago Urrutia, who I think you could argue from free practice has potentially been the quickest of the 4 Geely Scion Racing drivers. Big opportunity for the Uruguayan to charge his way through the field. And speaking to him yesterday, he's in bullish mood, is Santiago, coming into this one. Feels very, very comfortable in the new car. Happy with his lot in life. I expect to see a significant season from Santiago Urrutia. Finished 4th, of course, in 2025. Just behind Jan Ehrlichie and Ted Bjork. This is a big opportunity for Santi to score some big points to start his new campaign. Speaking of opportunities, Ted Bjork, the evergreen, the ever-fresh Ted Bjork is coming off the back of a fabulous 2025 season. Finished 2nd overall, the driver standings, just behind teammate Jan Ehrlichie. He's been on perilous form. He's been really strong, has Ted, over the last couple of seasons. I have a little feeling that perhaps, again, the man has a glint in his eye. He does feel a little bit like Ted Bjork may well be another one of those drivers that come into this season with aspirations of big things ahead. I think it's fair to say we all feel that way. But let's have a look then at the starting grid for race number 1. Mikael Azcona and Norbert Michaelis are your front row of the grid. Jan Ehrlichie and Santiago Urrutia will line up in 3rd and 4th positions respectively. Ted Bjork, Ruben Volt, 5th and 6th. In 7th place, Aurelian Comp for SP competition, Ma Qinghua will line up in 8th position, looking good for the reverse grid race 2. Gabriele Corvini will be 9th, rounding out the top 10 will be Jensen Brickley for ALM Motorsports, Esteban Guerrieri and Jean-Carl Venet, returning to TCR competition, will be 12th. Jimmy Claret and Victor Anderson are 13th and 14th. And then it is Romaro Zargo and Danilo Riduzzi will be 15th and 16th positions on the grid. Raphael Fournier will be 17th. And Julien Brichet, who was very strong in qualification, but unfortunately received a penalty for a ride height infringement, will start from the back of the grid. And of course, I said Jimmy Claret. I knew I'd do that one. It's Teddy in the car, of course. This weekend, he'll be doing Misano and Paul Ricard. And Jimmy will get his first taste of the car at Valencia and then Villarreal, sharing the seat between them. Of course, they both had fantastic seasons last year and take the step up to the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, which is again proof positive of the TCR pyramid and how it works. National, regional competitions all around the world. And everybody's goal, of course, is to work their way up to the world stage and show just what they can do in this incredibly competitive competition. Right on board with Jenson Brickley then, the English driver, racing for ALM Motorsports coming into this weekend. He starts from 10th on the grid, which is a bonus for Jenson. He was actually 11th in qualifying, but moves up one, courtesy of the Julien Brichet infringement. So he will start in 10th position. And from there has a very good opportunity indeed to score some very nice points. Onboard cameras we have for several cars. Norbert Miklas, Jan Aleshe, Esteban Guerrieri, Jenson Brickley as well, of course. Wonderful shots here. We look forward to seeing what dramas unfold, don't we? It's going to be a big race, this one. There's a lot of drivers. It's tentative, isn't it, on an opening race of the season? There's a lot of unknowns. You don't want to start off on the wrong foot. You don't want to make a mistake early doors and have to spend the rest of the year recovering lost points. But the flip side of the coin, of course, is you get out of the block strong, you lay a marker of intent for the rest of the field, and that's where the big opportunities lie. Jean-Paul Vernet is our 5th onboard camera. Wonderful to have JK back in the field, of course. 2022 at the ADAC Nürburgring, 24 hours was the last time JK was in a car. Our 2017 TCR International Series champion, going back some for those with long touring car memories, of course. Always fireworks for JK. I expect nothing more than the same again over the course of this season. There he is in the 169. Just behind, that is the ALM Motorsports machine. Teddy Claret has the blue stripes. That's the quick way to distinguish him. Ruben Volt running in actually a livery of his teammate over in Europe for this weekend. He's easy to distinguish on the trio of ALM cars with a very different livery than the rest. Nervous times then all around. There is Julien Brichet. Great to see that car's back up and running and fully compliant, ready to line up. Shame for Julien, of course. Qualified up there in 8th position. He will be starting from the back, but still, it's a touring car racing, folks. We've got 15 laps to go, and quite frankly, anything could happen. It's been a long, long winter since we were last at Macau to crown our 2025 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour champion. Well, now it all starts again at the back of the grid. Final cars are lining up in position. Green flag waves then at the back of the field at the top of your screen. All the lights will go on, they will go off, and we are go for 2026 in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Mikel Azcona gets a lightning start from pole position. Norbert Miklas almost immediately under pressure from Jan Aleshe. Aleshe, though, decides better of it, slots back in position a little bit further on down. There are the two other Cyan racing machines. Ted Bjork trying to buy into this one. Jean-Paul Vernet immediately up on his tippy toes as well, a little bit further in the pack. Squabble as they will. These opening few corners for the World Tour field are going to be absolutely vital for their race prospects. Taking a look there is Vernet. Do you see in the back of your shot a few more cars squabbling around Mikel Azcona? Still the early race leader, though. Job done. He said he had to get it done down into T1, and that's exactly what the Spanish driver has done. Esteban Guerrieri and Ruben Volt side by side. Not the start that Ruben would have wanted. Dropping down the running order. This is Jenson Brickley. Where is Jenson in the running order? 12th position. Not a great start then for the English driver as well. In a little bit of strife is Jenson Brickley. Hopefully he avoids any dramas. In fact, off camera, the timing screen suggests that he has just found a way past Jean-Paul Vernet. So Jenson starting to recover that one a little bit. The 155 there, Marchingois started in 9th position. Mars had a good start, stays in that spot. There's Vernet to the inside. JK, does he have the line? Does he have the commitment? I think he got that one done. Yes, he did. And in fact, if anything, Jenson Brickley has to go for a little bit of a detour off of the racetrack. There, you can see him rejoining alongside Raphael Fournier behind the blue machine of Julien Brichet. Almost pushing Zargo off the racetrack there a little bit between the two of them as they try and find a bit of real estate for themselves. And lap one in the books. advantage Azcona. Noah Miklis, 6/10 of a second in arrears in second place. The big movers and shakers, Esteban Gurrieri up in a 7th position. Good start, incredible start in fact actually for Gurrieri from 11th. It's exactly what Goat Racing were looking for, and look at this. This is interesting, isn't it? Did you see that one? That was Santiago Arrutia having a look at the inside of teammate Jan Earlishay. I mentioned earlier in the show, Santiago has arguably been the one that has had the lap time available to him the most of the Geely Cyan Racing team. In fact, let's interrupt ourselves because this is Jenson Brickley's day going very, very pear-shaped very quickly indeed. So whatever dramas that we saw on the Brickley-Venet fight, Jenson in pit lane and now out of competitive running. But let's focus some attention though on this little fight. Aurelian Comte, good start for him in the 6th position, up 1 from his qualification pace. He's a little bit detached from the rear of Ted Bjork at this moment in time, but Aurelian, absolutely outstanding, was the French driver in 2025. He'll be very keen to try and make inroads, just like John Calvinet is very keen to try and make inroads on the back of Gabriele Corvini. Corvini, though, has the line covered. Venet not quite able to find a way past. Now he has a look to the inside. Small mistake from the Italian driver. Opens the door for the 169. And JK, never been one to say no to an easy invitation. Slides past, takes the position and moves himself up into 10th place, into the top 10 for Jean Calvinet. What's going on here? Noah Miklis and Mikkel Azcona. Azcona drops behind Miklis now. That is a choreographed move. Norbe is your new race leader. So what happened there? Why? That was deemed necessary at this stage. I'm not quite sure, but the end result is the same. I think there has been a change. Yes, 105. There you go. See it on your screen. It's not updated on the timing screens yet, but you can see with your eyes Noah Miklis is now our race leader, and that little swapsy is going to put Mikkel under significant pressure from Earlishay behind. So Mikkel Azcona is going to be very much under pressure in the next few corners if it doesn't start to stem the flow and protect from the 168, the pink mirrors on Jan Earlishay's machine, our reigning champion. He senses a little bit of opportunity in the weight making here. Keep your eye on the French driver. He's going to be very keen to start having a nibble at the back of Mikkel Azcona's Hyundai Elantra N EV TCR. The EV, of course, new engine for 2026. We saw it back in one of the Asian rounds, I think, if memory serves me correct, in 25, just for a single race. Well, that is now in this BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse teams, cars, all season long. Although Gabriele Corvini, of course, racing the slightly older model that he races day in, day out in TCR Europe. So a little bit lighter with the older engine, Corvini. As things stand, struggling down there in 11th position. Back of your shot, we just saw Marchingois under a bit of pressure from Jean Calvinet. We'll keep our eyes on that one to see if Mar managed to hold on, or if JK found a way past. Look to the back of your screen, to the final corner. Yes, Mar held on. In fact, if anything, JK lost quite a bit of room. And the next one up the road, the Ruben Vault. And there, right on cue, is Ruben to the bottom of your shot. Have a look at this one, though. That was Gabriele Corvini that we spoke about earlier. Going down under pressure from Julien Brichet. He's a little bit further back. Victor Anderson in the Monlau Motorsports Cupra, the red machine, coming under pressure from Teddy Claret as well. So Anderson, 13th place so far. Difficult free practice 1 and 2. Strong result considering the amount of time that they managed to run in the car in qualification, but so far Victor perhaps will be a little bit frustrated, I think it's fair to say, down there in 13th place, and perhaps a little bit frustrated is going to be Santiago Arrutia. Look at this one now, really following in the wheel tracks of Jan Earlishay, just behind Ted Bjork, waiting for the opportunity. All 3 cars from the same team, of course, so it is going to be difficult when you're racing inter-team with people. You don't want to make first rule of motorsport, of course, is don't make contact with your teammate. Second rule of motorsport is, if you do, make sure nobody sees. As we're looking now at a increasingly lively looking Santiago Arrutia, I think it's fair to say. The 181, 112, of course, was the usual number for Santi. He thought it wasn't really bringing him the look that he was hoping for. So he's gone back to his championship winning in his single-seater days over in America, number 81. 181, of course, because the 1 prefixes this one in the World Tour. Let's have a look, see if it brings slightly more luck for the Uruguayan driver. So far it's doing wonders, it seems. He's really trying to apply the pressure to Jan Earlische. And to be fair, I think they're going to have to get a bit of a move on, because have a look at Aurelien Comte. He's wound himself up to the back of this particular squabble. So while our Geely Cyan racing machines are all having a little bit of a fight amongst themselves, that brings Aurelien Comte, there we see, on the SP Competition Cupra, and just behind him, Esteban Guerrieri. Driveshaft issues in qualification prevented Esteban from really setting a competitive lap time. Well, it's more than making up for that one, isn't he, in race one? Up there in a very nice 7th position, and absolutely in the conversation with the cars ahead. 5 laps then of 15 are in the books. It is Norbert Michelis, who's your race leader, 8/10 of a second ahead of Mikel Azcona. Scratch that, make it a second at the next time in screen. Good performance here from Norbert Azcona. For his own measure, has a 1.5 second advantage over Jan Earlische behind, and a warning flag has been issued to Julien Brichet. My assumption, yep, there we go, look at the timing screens for track limits violations. That has been the story of the day, it has to be said, over the course of free practice yesterday, and to a degree in qualification as well. These drivers need to be very, very careful, otherwise 5-second time penalties will very quickly be handed out should you exceed track limits 5 times and over. Time penalties will start to appear, and that is a very, very good way of waving goodbye to any competitive propositions. Over the line then for lap number 6. Let's have a look at the big movers and shakers are in our field. Esteban Guerrieri, of course, is going to have to come out as one of the biggest winners in this one. Started this race 11th place, up into 7th position. And let's have a quick look at how that went down. Take a replay of the start. In fact, edit that one. We'll come back to that replay of the start in a few moments' time. But yes, Guerrieri, quite a late addition to the World Tour field, it seems. Came in to go to race. He was incredibly impressive last season, 3rd in the World Tour standings. And let's have another look then at the race start. At the front of the field then, Mikel Azcona and Norbert Michelis. It would be vital for these two drivers. Azcona, perfect off of the line. That was a very nice launch. In fact, was it a little bit too early of a launch? I'm not quite sure on that one. In fact, this is a replay of the formation lap. We'll come back to that one. That was too early then because it wasn't green. Good. Panic over. No need to worry, Mikel Azcona fans. There's no penalty coming in. It's okay. Track limits for car number 155 at T16. 155 is Marching War up there in 8th position. So Mar receiving the wrath of the stewards. You'll need to be very, very careful indeed. Anybody who knows Misano knows this is the kind of circuit that you really have to be aggressive with the curbs. You have to be aggressive with the track limits in order to be fast. And of course, with judges of fact and cameras and all the good things that we have, any violations will very quickly be penalised, and that will be a problem for our drivers. Guerrieri, a little bit deep there. Look at this one, though. Look at Aurelien Comte. Hello, Aurelien. Welcome to the motor race. He's now gluing himself to the back of Ted Bjork. That is the Geely Cyan racing team. Watching on quite nervously, it seems now, as Bjork seems to be struggling, falling a little bit into the grasp of Aurelien Comte. Last time around, 42.7 for Ted, 42.3 for Aurelien. So they're very much the advantage falls in the hands of car number 107. So we take a look at Ruben Volt, still trying to find a way past Marching War, and still bringing Jean-Carl Vernet along for the ride. This particular squabble that we're having a look for is the fight between 8th Marching War in the blue Cyan, Geely Cyan racing car, 9th Ruben Volt, and then 10th, as mentioned, Jean-Carl Vernet. At the head of the pack, though, is an entirely different conversation. It is still as you were over the last few laps. Norbert Michelis pulling away now, 1.2 seconds being the advantage. He holds over teammate Mikel Azcona. Jan Earlische looked a little bit enthusiastic in the early stage of this race. Car's feeling a bit more laboured now, it seems. He's not quite in the attacking position against Michelis ahead. And if anything, Santiago Urrutia seems to be the one that is very, very interested in finding a way past his reigning champion teammate and taking over that bottom step of the podium. Teddy Claret is another driver that has had a track limits violation warning. Teddy down there in 14th position as things stand at this moment in time. He'll be hoping to keep it on the grey stuff a little bit more as we wind into the second half of this race. Then we're about to embark on the 8th of 15 laps here at the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli. So far, so good for the World Tour field. This is on board the Yas Racing Honda as we head down into T1. See what I mean about having to use the curbs for Esteban Guerrieri. You've got to be so aggressive over the curbs at this circuit. Hence the reason the track limits violations are going thick and fast. Mikel Azcona, in fact, is the next one to earn himself the attention of the stewards. Mikel pushing hard, just a 10th of a second down in lap time on teammate Noah Michaelis last time around, but the gap now stretched all the way up to 1.4 seconds. So this is looking very, very nice for our double Kumho FIA TCR World Champion Noah Michaelis. In 2023 and 2024 was Norby champion. 2025 went the way of Jan Earlishay. A lot of racing between now and the checkered flag to see who will take the 2026 title. Esteban Guerrieri, though, he's never won a World Tour or would dearly love to win the title. He's doing a great job up there in 7th position, still staying in contact with Aurelian Kopp, not quite close enough to look to affect an overtake, but most certainly applying the pressure. Marcin Guard dropping a little bit there down in 8th place. Ruben Volt trying so very desperately to find an opportunity to get away past the Geely Cyan racing machine, but Mar, impervious to the pressure behind, is doing a very, very good job to give no FL5 Honda Type R TCR size gaps in which Ruben Volt can gently pop himself into and find his way past. So Mar, good work then. 8th position, Volt 9th, Vinay still in 10th. Gabriele Corvini up there in 11th. And Julian Brichet, big shout out to Julian from the back of the grid. He's up there in 12th and holding court very nicely indeed with Victor Anderson behind. Let's take a look at the lap times then of Mikel Azcona. Last time around, 142.415. Jan Earlishay, 142.469. So Mikel fractionally quicker than the chasing pack. That's just going to be enough to keep everybody arm's length for a little while. This is quite an abrasive circuit, quite aggressive on the Kumho slick tyres that we run in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. So we'll see the pace drop off, I believe, as we get into the sunset of this race. And then it will be a case of who's got their car in the best window for the final portion of the motor race, and that's the one you were wanting to keep an eye on. It looks to me, at this moment in time, like that's Aurelian Compt. Again, look at the Cooper, the SP competition machine. 3 wins for Aurelian Compt last season. Very much the unexpected star of the year, I think it's fair to say. Well, now with JK alongside as well, it's a bona fide 2-car for the season team. I very much think these are a strong shout for good results. And look at the good result here. Ted Bjork leaves the door almost open. Aurelian can't quite get a nose inside. It is slammed very firmly shut in the Frenchman's face. And Ted Bjork almost gave up his grip on that 5th place. Compt, though, look at the body language of the Cupra. Very, very light on his toes as Aurelian does look like he could try and put the car wherever he wants on the racetrack. Doesn't seem quite as smooth, quite as easy for Ted Bjork at this moment in time. It is very much advantage to the 107. Aurelian Compt bringing in Esteban Guerrieri to the conversation as well. There is the GOAT Racing Honda in the background, but look at Aurelian. Look how he's trying to fill the mirrors of the Swedish driver in front, trying to give Bjork more focus on what's happening behind than what's going on in front. And that's exactly the kind of thing you do. Apply the pressure, see what kind of opportunities present themselves. But so far, Ted Bjork is holding on to that 5th position for now. 1.8 seconds now is the gap for your race leaders. Noah Michaelis ahead of Mikel Azcona. Last time around, another couple of tenths of a second for Norby. Looking good at the front of the pack. Azcona seems to have the measure of the chasing Jan Earlishay behind. The real interesting fight is what is happening with Ted Bjork, with Aurelian Compt. Aurelian absolutely on a charge at this moment in time. Teammate Jean-Carl Venet doing a good job up there in 10th place as well. Coopers have come out of the box strong. SP competition always present a very, very nice car. It seems like they found a very nice setup for that one as well. It has been lightning fast all weekend. And they're looking very nice indeed. Off camera, Julian Brichet, Victor Anderson. Look like they've swapped positions. Anderson up to 12th, Brichet down into 13th place. And dealy would Aurelian Comte love the opportunity for him to swap position with Ted Bjork. But Ted, so far, is doing everything he needs to do to hold on to that 5th place and give the French driver behind no opportunity to find a way past. Lap number 11 of 15 then takes off on the clock for this opening round of 20 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour here at the Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli. First time a world-level touring car competition has been held at this circuit. A big shout out to everybody here at Misano, and a big thank you for the wonderful warm welcome that we've received. A great programme of racing on all day long. It's been wonderful weather, great food, great people, great surroundings. Can't think of a better way to kickstart a new touring car campaign. Ruben Volt can think of a better way to kickstart one, though, than sitting in pit lane. Of that I am absolutely sure. Not sure what has happened to Ruben. Shame to see the Estonian driver in some kind of strife. Vincent Brickley being the other one in difficulty as well. 2 ALM Motorsport cars, both looking very unhappy indeed. Mikel Kona, by the way, is our current fastest lap holder in the Hyundai. Why is that important, I hear you say? Because, of course, the fastest lap in race 1, whoever scores that one, moves up 1 place on the grid in race number 2. So Mikel, courtesy of his pole position, is due to start in 10th. He can hold on to that quickest lap. He'll move up to 9th position on the grid for race number 2. Warning flag, track limits abuse for car number 155, Marching Hua. That's not the first time I have seen that one. It may be we're getting towards the danger zone for Ma. He needs to be a little bit careful there, up there in 8th position as things stand. Under pressure from JK in 9th, Gabriele Corvini into 10th place as well. There is Julien Brichet, having had a bit of drama, it has to be said, but he's still ahead of Zargo and Teddy Claret. Claret 14th position, sorry. Zargo finds a way past on just his 2nd TCR race ever. He was in TCR Italy for Imola a couple of weeks ago, had a 5th and a 7th position. Did the Argentinian driver, so there's a lot of talent there for the young man. He's doing a very, very solid job on his debut outing, the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Another element that'll be interesting for all of you to understand is we also have a new initiative for 2026. It is the ETS Guest Star Trophy. That'll be a trophy awarded to drivers that are not full season competitors, that are one-off drivers per round. Julien Brichet, Ramiro Zargo, Victor Anderson, Ruben Volt, Damiano Reduzzi and Gabriele Carvini are the drivers eligible for that one. And very quickly looking at down the list, looks like Gabriele Corvini is currently leading the ETS Guest Star Trophy. Briefly, while I was saying that one, we did see Raphael Fournier in the yellow JSB competition car come down pit lane. So yet more trouble for the young French driver. Shame there for Raphael, speaking to him a few moments before the race started. He was confident of the pace despite not really having an opportunity to show it in qualification. Well, unfortunately for the likeable young Frenchman, that's not going to happen today, but hopefully they can get those problems resolved and we see a better fist of things next time around. Tomorrow morning, 10:50 local, 8:50 UTC. Lovely shots then from our drone through that final corner. Ever so difficult for the track limits for our drivers. Not so much of an issue under racing conditions, and absolutely categorically no issue for Norbert Miklis at the head of the pack. Just under 2 seconds is the advantage now for Norby. Just over a 1/10 of a second quicker than Mikel Azcona last time around. It is looking good for our former champion, isn't it, at the head of the pack. Just behind Jan Erlichet, Santiago Urrutia. The sting in the tail seems to have gone out for Santiago a little bit now. Early stage of this race, it very much looked like the Uruguayan driver was keen to find a way past. That gap has stabilised. About 0.6 of a second now between himself and teammate Jan Erlichet. As the third of 4 Geely Cyan racing machines, Ted Bjork gets himself a warning flag for track limits abuse as well. Bjork very much in the heat of battle with Aurelian Comte, although that gap now started to stretch to 4-5 of a second. So Ted finding a little bit more of a rhythm, a little bit more of a safety net and comfort blanket, it seems, over Aurelian Comte for now. 5th position, Ted Bjork. 6th, Aurelian Comte. 13 laps on the books. Wow, that's gone fast, hasn't it? 13 laps. Where did that go? Wow, that has gone fast. It's been a bit of a slow burner in some parts of this race. There is Jeff, just having a little bit of John Calverne, having a little bit of easing of the wrist. It's been a long time since he's driven a front-wheel drive TCR car, and the man's kept himself in shape, of course, but there's absolutely no substitute for the track action. And this is wonderful. It really is great to see Jean Calverne back and in action again. And he's been pretty much engaged with Marchinois all race long. A little bit of a gap between the two of them at this moment in time, the Cupra versus the new Geely Scion racing car. And so far, it's Marchinois in the advantage, holding on to that 8th position. Whoa, 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 sweet child of mine. What's going on here? That's Ted Bjork and Aurelien Comte having a ding-dong fight. We picked it up late, not quite sure what happened there. But what I do know is Esteban Guerrieri had the best seat in the house and sees this as a fabulous opportunity to try and find a way past Aurelien, well aware of the threat from the Honda behind, closes the door in the firmest way possible. But that was some great door handle to door handle racing between the two of them. Ted Bjork, as you were, holds on. Aurelien Comte, a little bit more paintwork, none of his own on the car. But let's have a look at a replay of what we've just seen. Right then, we're picking this one up a little bit earlier. Ted Bjork in the lead. Aurelien Comte very, very late to the inside. Almost a bit of a corrective action, actually, from Aurelien, rather than a genuine passive position. Good car control from the 107 as well to not get involved and collect Ted. It could have been so easy for both of those cars, arm in arm, to head straight to the scene of the accident. But both drivers giving each other racing room. A little bit fast arms for Aurelien Comte as well. But he holds on to this one for now. Good stuff. Ted Bjork in the 111, stays in 5th. Aurelien Comte, though, looking ever more keen. Guerrieri, he had an opportunity to buy into it. It's not quite worked out, though, for the Argentine driver. He's dropped back a little bit as Esteban Guerrieri. It is very much a fight for 5th position amongst 3 cars. Ted Bjork being the leader of that one as we head into the final racing lap of the opening race of the season. Advantage, Norbert Michaelis. So while we keep half an eye then on this battle between Bjork, Comte and Esteban Guerrieri, it is Norbert Michaelis, of course, by 1.4 seconds is your race leader from Mikel Azcona. Interesting bit of team dynamics at play earlier in the race, and Norby has taken that one and absolutely run with it, showing some great pace at the head of the pack, although, as said, he does seem to be dropping back a little bit on this final lap. We'll keep an eye on what happens on there. We'll keep an eye on Ted Bjork, who is very firmly, eyes affixed to the rear view mirror, waiting for Aurelien Comte to make the lunge that we know he's going to do on the final lap. But Aurelien rapidly running out of space, rapidly running out of opportunities now. It's going to be a bit of a all or nothing attempt, methinks, if the 107 is really genuinely going to make a bid for that 5th position. Flash of the lights from Aurelien Comte. That's motor racing words, motor racing sign language for move. I'm on my way through. I don't think Ted Bjork will be listening to that one at all. Here we go then, into the final couple of sectors of this lap. If Aurelien Comte's going to do it, he wants to be doing it roundabout now. Bjork knows there's a threat, covers the inside line. A little bit of snatch break, no problem though whatsoever for the 111. Defensive line, very, very early from Ted. Aurelien Comte's opportunities are coming to an end now as we round in the final few corners here at Misano. Aurelien Comte on the charge, but at the head of the pack, the 2026 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour season kicks off with a victory for BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse and Norbert Michaelis. 1-2, Michaelis and Mikel Azcona. Jan Erlichet, bottom step of the podium. Excellent, excellent stuff then at the head of the pack. Great victory for Norbert Michaelis. He takes the opening victory of the 2026 campaign. That will be Norby's. What would it be? What would it be? What would it be for Norby? It would be his 9th victory in total in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour for Norbert Michaelis. All provisional, as always, of course, until the stewards do everything they need to do. The BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse started the best way possible. And speaking to Norby at the beginning of the weekend, when would it have been? Thursday, I would imagine. He had a twinkle in his eye that I've not seen for a little while with Norbert Michaelis. He looked like a man who knew more than he was letting on. And I think we've seen exactly why that twinkle was there. This is a very rapid car indeed. Hyundai Elantra N TCR EV to recognise the new engine for this season inside that car. The EV takes its first victory in the World Tour. Mikel Arkona then, fastest lap winner of that race. That will give Mikel a place up on the grid for race 2 tomorrow. He'll start from 9th now rather than 10th position. So well done, Mikel Arkona, to win the fastest lap. And of course, if we go to the ETS Guest Star Trophy for drivers that are only on a race-by-race basis, that will go to, looking on my list very quickly, Gabriele Corvini, I believe, who finished 10th overall and the highest finisher of those not committed for the full World Tour season. So well done, Gabriele Corvini. Well done, Norbert Michelis. Well done, the World Tour, for a cracking opening race of the new season. And Olyshay, we're looking there. Good debut, isn't it, for the Geely Cyan Racing Machine? 3rd position for Jan, 4th place for Santiago Urrutia, 5th for Ted Bjork, and Marcin Kvar coming home in 8th place. We spoke to Fredrik Wallen, team manager of Geely Cyan Racing during qualification. Alex Hastings, what the ambition was for the team, and he said points, top 10 for all 4 cars would be a very good job indeed. Well, a podium on debut is a very good job indeed by my book, and I think they'll be satisfied that they have got a platform that you can build on. Have Geely Cyan Racing, of course, the colour scheme is very similar. Cyan Racing are still the same. And of course, they campaigned the Lincoln Co previously. Well, this is now the Geely preface. TCR, brand new brand into the TCR family. Brand new brand, of course, into the World Tour. And it's absolutely wonderful to have them here. And it seems like they're picking it where they left off, doesn't it? With a very competitive proposition indeed. Into the winning arena we go then. Norbert Michelis and Mikel Arkona. The BRC Hyundais at the head of the pack. Jan Olyshay on the bottom step of the podium. Gabriele Corvini as well to make it 3 Hyundais in Parc Fermé together. He wins the ETS Guest Star Trophy Award as well. But it's all about that man, Norbert Michelis. What a start to his 2026 campaign. Look at that one. Very popular guy at Hyundai. Very popular guy all around the world, it has to be said, is Norbert. Lovely, lovely gentleman. And he just seems to get better, doesn't he? He looks younger every year I see him. And he gets faster every time I see him. He is like a fine wine, is our Norbert. The older you get, the better it gets. And that's a great way to start his campaign. Straight overlook. It's lovely, lovely harmony amongst the team there. Mikel coming over to congratulate his teammate. Big smiles all around, I'm sure. Great stuff. And there is Gabby Corvini as well, coming in to his temporary teammates. Giving them a big hug as well for his 10th overall BTTS Guest Star Trophy winner. In a few moments' time then, our very own Alex Legui will be speaking to our race winner. We'll do our podium celebrations. Quick thumbs up for the photographers as well, of course. And Mikel, big smiles all around. I think from pole position to second might be a tad disappointing for Arkona, perhaps. But then again, race number 1 of 20. There's a lot of motor racing, folks. A heck of a lot of motor racing between now and the end of November when we say goodbye to the campaign. So bank those big points. I'm just about to listen in to Jan then as we moved away. Actually, it's probably not a good idea to listen into the debrief of the engineers on international television. You can see Alex there hunting around for the people. But let's have a look then. Race 1 results are in. Norbert Michelis from Mikel Arkona. Jan Olyshay, Santiago Urrutia. Top 4. Ted Bjork, Aurelien Comte, Esteban Guerrieri. As we go on down, Jensen Brickley being the only classified retiree. As they crossed the line, 17 cars made it to the checkered flag. A few were in more levels of strife than others. The car at the front of the field, of course, was Norbert Michelis, who took the race victory. And let's go and have a little chat with him, down on the grid, with Alex Legui.
And taking the first win of our 2026 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. The first race goes to Norby Michelis. Congratulations. What a way to start the year. This must give you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, but first of all, thanks to Mikel. I mean, he let me pass in lap 2.
Why?
Because we need to score every point available. I think he realized quite soon that my pace is a bit better than his, and you know, with 3 or 4 blue cars behind, we cannot risk to be in danger. So we agreed this before the start, and it's fantastic to have a teammate like him. I mean, to follow the rules, I mean, to assisting myself. Yeah, and my car was really good throughout the race. Honestly, I did probably 12 quali laps in the beginning. And then I picked up some understeer because of tire wear. But then already, fortunately, the gap was almost 2 seconds. So I could leave something on the table. Nevertheless, very happy with the race win. I don't want to go into technical details. It's perfect to start the season like this.
Amazing start, Nobby. Well done.
Amazing start indeed for Norbin. Great team play as well there between himself and Mikel Azcona. Just showing the dynamic and the strong team spirit in the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse team. Working very well indeed for Norbert Michelis and Mikel Azcona. 1-2 then as they cross the line. Gabriele Corvini, of course, taking ETS Guest Star Trophy Award as well. And Jan Olyshe rounding out the provisional podium placings. A good start to what is going to be an incredible season. And of course, there's still another race to go. We're going to be back in action again tomorrow. Do not forget, make a little note in your diary for that one. 10:50 in the morning, local time, 8:50 UTC. Here's the Drivers' Championship points then, after qualifying and race 1. Noah Miklis and Mikel Azcona, joint championship leaders, 10 points ahead of Jan Olyshe. That's all going to change once again when we race again. But before we do that, why don't we have a look at some of the highlights of the race we've just enjoyed. The start was always going to be crucial for the BRC squad, and it was Mikel Azcona that got the clean launch at the head of the pack. Noah Michelis very much dutifully dropping in to second position, while everybody else had a little squabble to try and find a bit of real estate for themselves in what was a very frantic opening few corners of the 2026 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour season. At the head of the field, it all looked clean and fair for the two BRC squads, but the big mover would be the 107 of Aurelien Comte, the French driver, providing great entertainment over the course of the race. Lap number 2 came along, and Mikel Azcona elected to allow teammate Norbert Michelis pass. This would begin a race-long defence of that second position, a race-long fight as well between Ted Bjork and Aurelien Comte. On that occasion, Aurelien can't quite find the way past, as Ted proved to be somewhat the defensive master to hold on to that 5th place, including this ever so slightly Larry moment. Aurelien Comte and Ted Bjork doing well to stay out of trouble and keep the car out of the barriers. At the front of the field, though, no such drama for Norby in the 105. The first race of the season, the first race victory in the books, and with it, it is a BRC 1-1 at the top of the championship standings, as now both Norbert Michelis and Mikel Azcona jointly lead the World Tour standings after 1 qualification and 1 race already in the books. With the racing action all done and dusted then, of course, it's time to go for the podium celebrations.
For our 3rd position driver from Geely Cyan Racing is Jan Olyshe. In 2nd position from BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse, it's Mikel Azcona. And your winner from BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse, it's Norbert Michelis. And representing BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse, it's Jean-Luc Diana. Please also welcome onto the podium our ETS guest trophy driver from BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse. It's Gabriele Covini. And now for the national anthem of Norby Michelitz. Incredible work, boys. Now for your trophies. The trophies today are presented by the MD of Misano World Circuit, Andrea Albani. He will present our third position trophy to Geely Cyan Racing's Jan Erlashe. Andrea Albani will now do the pleasure of presenting our second position trophy to BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse's Michael Ascona. And now the winning driver trophy to BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse's Norby Michelitz. And now for the team representative of BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse, Jean-Luc Diana. And finally, for the first time this entire TCR World Tour, we have our ETS guest trophy driver, and that goes to BRC's Gabriele Corvini. Please come together for your official photograph. Grab those bottles, folks. Champagne.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much, Alex. And there we go. Podium celebrations in time-honoured fashion, and that's 4 drivers that very much deserve those celebrations. Back in action again, though, as I keep saying, tomorrow morning, 10:50 local, 8:50 UTC. And with a race of experience and knowledge behind them, will they have any impact on how people perform coming into that second race? We'll find that one out. Let's have a look then. Once again, drivers' points. Norby Michelitz and Michael Ascona, joint championship leaders from Jan Erlashe, Santiago Urrutia, Ted Bjork and Aurelian Comps. Esteban Gurrieri there, 26, further in arrears. But for now, from myself, Paul Jeffrey, from Alex Legui and from the whole team at the World Tour, thank you for your company, thank you for your time, and we'll see you all again for round 2 tomorrow, once again at 10:50 local, 8:50 UTC. We're back and we're better than ever. See you then. Take care and goodbye.